It's an everyday thing, it's an everyday thing, it's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
As we inch closer to a government shutdown this morning, you said you might do a lot of layoffs. If DOGE is already reducing the federal workforce, why is it necessary to link more federal jobs cut to a shutdown?
Well, the Democrats want to shut it down, and so when you shut it down, you have to do layoffs. So we'd be laying off a lot of people that are going to be very affected, and the Democrats, they're going to be Democrats. As you know, this country, no country can afford to pay for illegal immigration, health care for everybody that comes into the country, and that's what they're insisting. And obviously, I have an obligation to not accept that. That would affect everybody. You know, when I see what we're doing with AI and all the plants that are opening up in the country, $17 trillion is coming. And if you compare that to Biden had in 4 years less than $1 trillion. We have 17 trillion, more than that. I think it's going to be much more than that, David, by the end of this year. I think it's going to be far over that. It's a record. It's already a record in 8 months. It's a record by a lot.
As we inch closer to a government shutdown this morning,
Trump keeps saying that Democrats, they're going to be Democrats. What does that mean? He says that Democrats want to pay for health insurance for illegals. Now, I'm finna Google that. Shit. All right. So here we got a fact check. Of course, it's from CNN. Like, what better fact check than from CNN about Democrats? It said Democrats about to shut the government down because they demand we fund healthcare for illegal aliens. The Democrats are pushing to continue more generous federal subsidies to help Americans afford Obamacare policies and to reverse deep cuts into Medicaid contained in Trump's sweeping domestic policy agenda package. But neither of those changes will provide health coverage to undocumented immigrants since they aren't eligible for either program. And this, if he's lying to us right in our face, why don't somebody call him out on it? Like, be real with it. Say, okay, be transparent. Don't just say the Democrats want to do this. Explain how they're doing it and why they're doing it. Like, explain it, because if he keeps saying this, if you say it enough, it becomes real. Okay, I guess that's in his mind. But in all actuality, we really need to know if that's what's holding it back, that they say they're trying to give healthcare to immigrants. Well, I don't know. Anybody got Obamacare? Are you an illegal immigrant? Please let me know if you're an illegal immigrant and you have Obamacare, or if you have Medicaid and your Medicaid will rise. Are you an illegal immigrant? Or if your medicine, your pharmaceuticals that come from countries outside of the U.S., like a lot of our pharmaceuticals come from Canada. Is that for illegals or is it for just the American people? I'm trying to figure that out, because Donald Trump keeps saying it's the Democrats. The Democrats, they want to give health care for illegal immigrants. And of course, we know Donald Trump, you want to get the illegals out of here. I get it. You don't want them to leave with insurance because they can use that same insurance and bill Americans from over in whatever country you send them back to. Is that true or not? Because if that's what it sounds like Trump wants to stop them from getting the insurance and being covered before he deport them. Because if he deport them and they have our insurance, then they can bill Medicaid from whatever country they in, right? Or am I just making that up? I don't know. It sounds good though.
Are only hours away from a government shutdown, and the Democrats have a very clear binary choice. They can choose to keep the government open by voting for a short-term, nonpartisan, clean, continuing resolution, 24 pages long, or they can vote to shut the government down. That's what we're looking at. They, as you all know, have voted during the time they had the majority 13 different times, and when Biden was in the White House, on short-term continuing resolutions, 13 different times. And so it begs the question is what's changed? And I think what's changed is President Trump is in the White House. That's what this is about. This is politics. And there isn't any substantive reason why there ought to be a government shutdown. This is something that has been done routinely, as I said, 13 different times when the Democrats had the majority. But we are not going to be held hostage for over $1 trillion in new spending on a continuing resolution, nor are we going to be held hostage to allow illegals to get free health care in a continuing resolution.
There they go again.
These are things that they're demanding as part of their so-called negotiation. Ladies and gentlemen, there isn't anything here to negotiate. This is a routine funding resolution to keep the government open so that we can continue.
Oh man, I want y'all to see this right. Look at this man right here. I hate the smug look on his face, man. Oh man, this dude grinds my gears, man. This is Senator Langford. Look, he just, what you want to give him a kiss? What you looking at him so hard for? This is the Oklahoma representative, and this guy, man. Oh my God, this guy. Hey, you talk about spineless, dog. You talk about bending over, no Vaseline. This dude has not made one good policy in Oklahoma. But anyway, let's finish so I can get to my point. But I just noticed him and he just threw me all off.
Our appropriations work and fund the government in the old-fashioned way, which is allowing the Appropriations Committee, Democrats and Republicans, to work together as they have been. And by the way, the Democrat leader keeps talking about not consulting. The Appropriations Committee, they picked the date. Democrats and Republicans, the big four on the Appropriations Committee, were consulting. They picked the date for the continuing resolution, November the 21st. And so this has been an open process from the very beginning. This year we opened up the appropriations process, something that wasn't done when the Democrats had the majority here in the Senate. But they have a clear choice in front of them today. And I hope there are Democrats out there. This may not represent the view of their leadership, but I'm hoping there are Democrats out there who are reasonable and understand what's at stake here. And as they have articulated many times in the past, the costs associated to the American people with the government shutdown. This is totally avoidable. It is a decision they're going to have to make. And if the government shuts down, it is on the Senate Democrats. The House is acted. The President's ready to sign the bill. And all that's left is for 8 Democrats to join us in passing that bill today. Senator, are only hours away from a government.
We finna talk about the lies and the pointing the fingers. We talk about the Spider-Man thing, okay?
Shutdown, and the Democrats have a very clear binary choice. They can choose to keep the government open by voting for a short-term, nonpartisan, clean, continuing resolution.
You hear that? They have a choice to vote for a nonpartisan, clean, short-term resolution. Bipartisan means both parties agree with it. Can we agree with that? Can we agree with that? So meaning, if they pass this nonpartisan, that means everything that's on the bipartisan bill, we're not going back and looking at that. So if we pass this, even if it's a short-term deal, we will not go back and look at anything that was on the previous bill. That's what that means. So it's a word salad. Once you get into it and you take a bite and you be like, that was something in there. I don't know what that was. That an artichoke? I don't even want no more. He just hit y'all with the artichoke and y'all didn't know that it was in there. He tried to hit y'all with something healthy, but it ain't got a tangy taste.
24 pages long, or they can vote to shut the government down. That's what we're looking at. They, as you all know, have voted during the time they had the majority 13 different times, and when Biden was in the White House, on short-term continuing resolutions, 13 different times. And so it begs the question is...
So someone just said, you didn't say that with other presidents. I did just say it. I said when Joe Biden was in, they did the same thing. Like, this don't make no sense. But you know the part about it is, when they did short-term resolutions, they were bipartisan. That means everybody had a voice. Democrats and Republicans. I don't think y'all understand now. As Trump is on his, I'm telling you, he got a hit list. He coming back for all y'all. What he's trying to tell y'all is that he not giving up on what he wants. He wants the Republicans to steadfast and don't pull back. You got to stand strong, hold on, forget this. Don't worry about the government shutdown. Don't ease up on the Democrats. The Democrats will fold. This is what they saying. The Democrats will fold. They have to fold. I'm telling y'all, it's the truth. Because one, I don't know how strong the leaders are, but the people behind it, that's just like having, it's just like having, you know, you got, I'm going to just do old wrestling. If y'all watch wrestling, you got Triple H. If you got Triple H in the ring, and then your tag team partner is X-Pac, little bitty X-Pac, and you fighting Kane and Undertaker, what the fuck is that going to do? That means we got a strong leader, but everybody behind us is weak, and then you got, you know, Kane and Undertaker on the other side ready to whoop y'all's ass because you got little bitty X-Pac down there. I don't know how else to explain it, but it makes sense if you just Google who these people are and you see like the size difference. So basically, Trump is telling the Democrats that they gonna fold because they don't really have nobody strong enough to stand on. There will be 8 people who will vote for this stupid ass bill, who won't shut the government down, who will give in, and there won't be anyone from the Republican Party to budge on any of the bills that they have. Republicans have a bill, Democrats have a bill. Both of them have something in hand that they'll give and take. Some people are in negotiations of what they will accept, but they won't accept it. I'm telling you.
What's changed? And I think what's changed is President Trump is in the White House. That's what this is about. This is politics. And there isn't any substantive reason why there ought to be a government shutdown. This is something that has been done routinely, as I said, 13 different times when the Democrats have the majority. But we are not going to be held hostage for over $1 trillion.
And when the Democrats had a majority, the government was facing a shutdown, but they made a resolution, a bipartisan resolution, and didn't shut the government down. They only did that when Trump was in office. And it looks like, again, another government shutdown will happen under Trump's watch. What is that telling you about the Republicans? They're non-negotiables. They have terrible non-negotiables. Okay? And they are blamed. We got to get to the part where you talk about in the immigrants. But we're going to, again, this is going to come up 1,000 times.
Spending on a continuing resolution. Nor are we going to be held hostage to allow illegals to get free health care in a continuing resolution.
If I say it enough, it'll become true. We just read on the much credible source that doesn't show any bias to the Democrats, CNN, that nobody. What up? Let me read it again. Let me read it again. What CNN said. They said, the Democrats are pushing to continue more generous federal subsidies to help Americans afford Obamacare policies and to reverse deep cuts to Medicaid contained in Trump's sweeping domestic policy agenda package. But neither of those changes will provide health coverage to undocumented immigrants, since they aren't eligible for either program. Again, if I say it enough, then it becomes true, and that's what we're hearing.
I have to say to my Democrat colleagues, there is no reason for a shutdown. I mean, it's going to threaten Medicaid reimbursement. It's going to threaten VA services. It's going to threaten farmers' USDA, farming services. I'm thinking about things in my state that are really, really important. Military service members' pay, national parks. I mean, I just go on and on.
President Trump is totally out of touch. This kind of theatrical approach to negotiation, posting AI content that mocks and degrades the other side, is not the way to negotiate. He is totally unserious.
I thought it was hilarious. I think people take that stuff too seriously and try to find political hay to make out of it. It's a funny video that was posted, although I do think it probably telling that the Democrats' demands right now are just totally unreasonable.
I think yesterday was an opportunity that was missed. The gathering in the White House was a chance for the legislative leaders with the president to avoid a government shutdown, and there wasn't any follow-up whatsoever.
I mean, you see what I see. It appears we're going to have a shutdown. Shutdowns are always a combination of policy and politics, but to varying degrees. This one is more politics than policy.
It's a funny, hilarious. I think people take that stuff too seriously and try to find political hay to make out of it. It's a funny video that was posted, although I do think it probably is telling that the Democrats' demands right now are just totally unreasonable.
Is this fun? Is this a time to be funny? Is this time for our president to now be a comedian? Hey, maybe we should take him off air like they did Jimmy Kimmel when the jokes don't fly. Okay? It was very unsatisfying to see your commander-in-chief posting videos mocking Americans. I'm not going to say his opposition because we're all American. See, when you use words like opposition and the other side and stuff like that, you act like we're not Americans at the same time. We are all Americans. We just have a different viewpoint on where we want our lives to be portrayed and the things that we want in life, and to look out for the people, or to be able to have make a living, but not to mock people on the world stage as the command. Now if Jimmy Kimmel posted it, I'd be like, that's hilarious, and he's not funny at all. But your president posting it, that's just out of line.
Day and night. For some women, it can start working in as fast as 1 week.